LCARA Ham Radio visits the Burgin, Kentucky Fall Festival. That's what's coming up next on LCARA Ham Radio. Hello folks, this is Chris, KY4CKP. Well, we were invited to the Burgin Fall Festival in Burgin, Kentucky by Doug Rulon at the Burgin Independent School, and his call sign is KO4WDE. He runs a radio club there with the kids and invited us to the Fall Festival to hang out, interact with the public and some of his kids, and just have a good time. It's always good to go to your local festivals and things and show the world that ham radio is still a thing, as we like to say. So we spent a couple of minutes talking to Doug here at the festival about his work with the kids there and some of the materials they've been collecting and using for the club. So let's listen to Brian and Doug talk a little bit about working with ham radio and younger kids in the school.
So these were 3D printed.
Yes.
The green elements here.
Yes. The name of the
Talk
guy.
a little bit about how you put all this together.
Well, we got onto a website called Thingiverse, and
Right.
we found this fella here, India United 1 Oscar Papa Kilo. He's the guy that designed the frame.
Okay.
And he also provided the specifications for everything that you needed to build the kit. So we got on Amazon and ordered all the parts that we needed. It was like $60 to do 4 of these antennas.
Nice.
So
Low cost.
Yes. So we built one, took it out and tested it, and we were working 20 watts, and first contact was a guy in Romania.
That's
So,
amazing. Now, when you say we took it out, let our audience know, are we talking about school kids here?
Yes, I'm a teacher at the local school here at Burgin, and we have a radio station, KQ4 Charlie Whiskey Tango,
Okay.
and we have about 10 kids that are really interested in radio.
Nice.
So hopefully some of them are going to come by a little bit later. One of them, our president, she's at a softball game right now, so she'll be here a little bit later.
So we got 10 students in the local school
10
here that's
students.
involved.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes, yes.
And this was one of the projects for that group?
This was one of the major projects that we did last year because we were just getting started off. We've just been using personal equipment that we have, and we've had a couple donations. We have a Yaesu 2-meter rig that was donated to us that we use.
Okay.
And we're working with the local HAMRadio out of Danville to kind of help with nets. So they know what time our club meets, and they're always available, so the kids can call CQ and get some simplex either on the simplex on simplex frequency, or kind of do some contacts through.
So you guys hopping on 146.520, the national frequency from time to time?
Yes, we always monitor it in my classroom. We don't always have the volume all the way up.
Right.
But whenever somebody calls CQ, I always let a kid, regardless if they're in the club or not, because I teach middle school and high school.
That's
so
right, yeah.
if somebody calls CQ and it's a moment, we'll stop what we're doing and we'll go and do that, because ham radio ties into so many of the content standards. Electromagnetic waves, radiation, communication theory, all of that ties into science standards. So we're trying to push that as much as we can.
I think a lot of, sometimes educators, but I think also just parents in general, they want to get their kids, especially the girls and things, involved in STEM.
Yes.
And I think they overlook how ham radio can help them in that endeavor.
Yes, and it's crazy. My daughter is absolutely ate up with ham radio. My youngest daughter, she's 8. She likes to call CQ.
Nice.
But it's the girls in our school that are taking to ham radio the most.
Right.
And especially the digital modes. When we first set up, Robbie Manning, KY4RLM, was our tech guy at the school. And
He's a member of our club.
He ended up getting me into ham radio.
Right.
And, well, actually, I got him into ham radio. And then I backed out and never took my test. And then he took his test. And then he dogged me for 3 years to take my test, and then I took the test, and now here we are. So
right.
Now we have a radio club. But it's been a lot of fun. So we did single sideband almost exclusively, and a lot of kids had mic fright. They didn't like that. So we actually lost a couple of members because of that, because they just were nervous to talk. And then I was like, well, hold on. So we set up and did FT8 out of the classroom window. We literally ran the coax out the classroom window onto the playground. And they took to it like wildfire. They love FT8.
Nice. So with FT8, Olivia, and a number of those digital modes, that would allow them to send messages, like on Olivia, can send
Right.
messages back and forth.
Right.
And I never thought about that being a problem with those young kids. That mic fright is definitely a thing, but to get them into the hobby and maybe say, well, you don't have to get on the mic.
Right. And so much of what they do now is texting and on small screens.
Right.
They just took to it. Like, they just took right to it. Now, like, could you use FT8 in emergency situations? I'm like, absolutely you can. It's not just exchanging QSOs and signal reports.
Right.
I mean, in an actual emergency, you can change the characters and do whatever you need to do.
Exactly right.
And they like to try to collect countries. Right now they have like 4 countries in Europe. And so it's a lot of fun. They're really liking the digital.
That is awesome. We'll have more with Doug a little bit later today. We're here at the Burgin, is it the Burgin Festival?
The Burgin Fall Festival.
Burgin Fall Festival. It's just east of Harrodsburg, Kentucky, if you want to look it up on Google Maps. We've got our emergency communications trailer here. Chris will do some panning a little bit later on our mobile setup. And we've got our 2-meter radio, and we've got an HF radio set up today to do demonstrations and hopefully work with some of Doug's kids. We'll see you in the next segment.
All right, here, folks, you can see we had our Honda 3000 generator set up. Of course, Honda known for being very quiet generators, very high quality generators. This one works well for us to run our equipment in the field. We also have solar panels we can hook up and things like that to keep our house batteries powered. And we set up our little camp here, had an extra table set up that Doug was using for some of his equipment, a 7300 and a G90. And with his enthusiasm for ham radio, he even started talking to one of the folks that stopped by.
The school uses UHF radios to communicate from classroom to classroom, but the range on a UHF radio isn't as great as, say, an HF radio, right? So then you go down to 2 meters, which is FM, and you would want to use that in like mobile installations like the guys have on their cars. You can talk anywhere up to 40, 50 miles radio to radio, right? But when you're working with 2 meters, you have repeaters that you can use. So you don't have to talk the whole distance, you just have to speak halfway.
GMRS kind of works that way.
Yeah, there's GMRS repeaters as well.
All right, folks. Well, it was great to see Doug's enthusiasm and all his hard work there in the school system, working with younger kids, elementary and high school kids, and getting out to one of these local festivals. Again, there's always great food at the food vendors, and we had some great ribs and things. Get out into your community, participate, enjoy your hobby, enjoy the community you live in. And we'll see you folks in the next video. This is Chris, KY4CKP.